Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another, there you go, a little buzz for you. Another episode of Sessionwire Live. My name is Brendan Lyons. I'm joined today by my good friend Ryan Davidson, two-time Grammy nominee and, was it multiple Canadian Country Music Award guitar player of the year?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. He's very humble. We are in my home studio again, and this time we're doing something different today. Instead of my just, blathering on about Sessionwire and things, we're going to actually look at something that I think is really cool and that we've kind of, come up with over the last few months. A way of tracking great sounding guitar tones in a very small home studio without waking your neighbors or, incurring bylaw fines and all that kind of stuff.
You can record into the wee hours of the night and you won't make anybody mad.
Except for your wife, if you're supposed to be. Not doing things at like 3 a.m. So if you're here joining the chat, please say hello in the chat. I think I can see everybody. I saw Delavanta is in here. What's up? Good to see you again from the Atlanta area. I'm going to load the stream here so I can see the comments. Once again, Streamlabs desktop not doing what I need it to do. Here we go. Let me get these comments. Oh, we will recursive stream in here. Okay, so today, obviously, we're talking about tracking guitars in a small home studio. One of the downsides of trying to track guitars in a studio is most often you need a really loud guitar amp to get the tone that you're looking for. And I thought we'd kind of start off this session by maybe just having Ryan talk about his typical setup for playing guitar live and in the studio, and we'll kind of go from there. So do you want to tell us a little bit about, your setup typically, and then maybe what you brought today?
Well, typically when I play live, I use a low wattage amplifier, really loud, and it produces a certain kind of natural compression that sounds great. In the studio, obviously, if you live like Brendan and I do, in small places with neighbors, you can't really do that. So as I've learned from hanging out with Brendan, that you can use, I have a pedal board here, with a little bit of gain and some compression if we need it, into a plug-in, and I can't tell the difference between an amp and that. And I'm a guitar player, and I can't tell. The only difference that I notice from a guitar player standpoint is that the response is different than having an amp right behind me, but it's negligible. It's not a giant difference. Typically, in the last few years, I've used a low wattage amplifier at home with a Royer 121 and a 57 kind of pointed like this on 2 channels. I send out both tracks to people so they can mix however much of each mic they want. And it sounds great. It really does. But as far as ease of operation, this is way easier, and it sounds just as good. I hate to admit that, but it does.
Yeah, Ryan and I play for a a country artist here in Canada. Ryan's the band leader and lead guitar player, and you've been using a Morgan
AC20.
AC20. Sounds fantastic. It's really loud, and to kind of bring that into this room and attempt to record it really well would be a challenge, I think, to say the least. If we had the cab in the same room as us, we'd have to wear in-ears and headphones and try to get comfortable with a mix like that. Obviously, like Ryan said, the kind of interplay that you get with a guitar and an amp in the same space is, it's pretty important. It helps with sustain, and if you're trying to do any kind of weird feedback kind of effects, you need that volume. But we could also put the cab out in the hallway outside, but then we're dealing with, there's a furnace out there. It's not soundproof out there, and we live in a townhouse, so the neighbors would not appreciate that. So,
yeah, you get all kinds of bleed from all kinds of things, some of which you don't even know what you're hearing that's making the racket. Sometimes it's the electricity in the house. A helicopter flies by, or a car drives by, or a motorcycle in our neighborhood drives by.
Yeah, and just to give everybody an idea, right? You can't see it, but there's a window. I'm in a basement. There's a window right there, and about 50 feet beyond the window is a major highway. So in our neighborhood, it's not quiet.
No.
It's not abnormally loud, but yeah, it's not conducive to like a great isolated recording environment, unless you have a room like I have here, which is a room within a room with 2 layers of drywall, green glue, ISO clips. It's really isolated. I can play the drums in here and not disturb anybody at 4 a.m. So, it's times like this. I wish I had an alternate camera that I could show Ryan's pedal board. You want to just kind of go through your pedals really quick and what you're using and what you're using them for?
Sure. My setup that I use on tour and for the studio is the same setup, because it's kind of the major food groups. It goes into a tuner. It's got a very, very light compression if I need it. Wah pedal, light overdrive, reverb, delay, tremolo, and then a boost at the end, which doubles as an overdrive also if you need it. But
shout out to Wampler pedals.
Yes. I should have worn my Wampler t-shirt.
Dan. Well, maybe, we'll see if I can connect my alternate camera view, maybe for the next stream. I think we'll probably do another one of these in the future.
Sure.
It seems it's fun already. Brad Prosco says hi. Hello,
hi,
gentlemen. The Imperial Tone King Mark II and UAD Buxom Betty are my go-to, is what he says.
Okay.
I'm a drummer. I don't understand.
Yeah, I've been jonesing over one of those for a while, and I haven't got it yet. I really want one.
Maybe after our next paycheck.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think we'll kind of jump into Pro Tools here. What we've got going on here is a session that we worked on a couple months ago for, believe it or not, the CEO of Sessionwire. We tracked a song for him here. We had our friend Travis Switzer play bass. We had the 3 of us in the room. And the only live audio, the only live sound in this room was my drums. The bass was direct input into the Pro Tools session, I think it probably had an Ampeg B15 emulation on it. And Ryan's guitar was straight into Pro Tools with Bias Effects 2 on it. And we'll get into exactly what we're using that for right now. So let's dive into Pro Tools. Let's see if I can bring up the camera as well. Can everybody see this? I think so. Awesome. At any point, if anybody has any questions, please drop them in the comment section. This is what this is all about. I'm trying to see these comments come in from Facebook, but like I said, Streamlabs desktop is causing me all sorts of issues today. So we'll do our best. Oh, there we go. We got some comments there. Mark Puffer in the house. Puff Daddy. Hey. Gord Bamford was in here too. Awesome. Mark Puffer is the other guitar player in our band with Gord Bamford. So, hi, Mark. Here we go. So, Pro Tools. This is it's a really stripped down session, and this is something that's really important when working the way that we've been working with tracking guitars. Peter Buick says, "Aren't you in the same room now?" Yes, we are, but there's no guitar amp in this room with us, which is the whole point of this this live stream, is kind of showing how we've been tracking guitar. Side note, we just worked on a project called Vinyl Hampton, which is the brainchild of Steve Wiest, if you're familiar with Chicago, the band. Who else does he work with?
Steve has worked with everybody.
Yeah, monster trombone player, teaches at University of North Texas, or did.
No, did. He was a University of Denver. He's now retired. The people in the band are ex-1 O'Clock musicians, David Letterman show band musicians, all kinds of people. And we recorded the whole record here in this room with no amp. And I've heard the final product, and I couldn't tell you that there wasn't an amp.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we're getting at here is, you know, world-class musicians like Ryan playing for world-class people like Steve Wiest, and we can get away with tracking guitars in the box. So this session here is it's a stripped down version of the master session. So I have Steve played with Maynard Ferguson. That's right. Jeez, heavy. So this is a stripped down version of the session. The master session is obviously, you know, all of the drums were multi-tracked. There's all kinds of effects. There's multiple guitar parts. I've taken that and bounced it all down to 4 stems: a drum stem, bass stem, guitar stem, and effects stem that I brought into a brand new Pro Tools session. There are no plugins on this session except for what we're using for Ryan's guitar. That allows us to set our buffer size to a pretty low value, which allows Ryan to play through Pro Tools and monitor through my monitors without feeling any kind of delay. So that is the key to this whole thing, for me anyways. Being a Pro Tools user, you know, you kind of have to work around some limitations. Ableton's a little bit better working with low latency. Reaper's great. Whichever DAW you use, you want to get the buffer size down very low. So, Ryan, do you want to just play a little lick and see if we feel any latency?
Yeah, there's no latency there.
Awesome. And for everybody watching, you'll hear Ryan's clean signal, and you'll hear our vocal, you know, you'll hear it coming through the monitors back into our vocal mics. When we go to track a take, you won't hear that. I'll have it muted and everything. So, yeah, this, we'll have a quick look here at, I need to relabel that because I'm a little OCD. This right here is all we're using bias effects for. So Ryan has his guitar, goes into his pedal board, goes out of his the last pedal on his chain, which is the Wampler Tumnus. So, you know, shout out to Wampler again.
Yep.
Comes out of that into my audio interface, which is an Antelope Orion Studio Synergy Core, into channel 3. I've got it routed into input 21, and it comes into Pro Tools and hits Bias Effects 2. Now, Bias Effects 2 is a really powerful emulation plugin. You can emulate pedals, EQs, compressors, amps, cabs, all kinds of things. We're only using it to emulate the amplifier and the cabinet. That's it. I don't want any reverb or effects or delays or like master compression after the cabinet. We're not using it for anything other than trying to emulate Ryan's amplifier and cabinet that he would use at home. So obviously a 1994 matchless DC 30.
Yeah.
We don't have one because they're really expensive.
True story.
So we've also used a Dumble for some things, and for any guitar player that knows what a Dumble amplifier is, knows that they're about $90,000.
Real good condition ones, yeah.
Yeah, I think Keith Urban tours with 2 of them.
Of course he does.
Unreal. But we don't have that kind of money, but we want that tone, and this is kind of similar to what you use with your Morgan in terms of sound. So we're using the matchless, and then we're using, I think it's a generic cab with some greenback, with a greenback speaker in it. Looks to be I think it's a 12. Would it be a 12?
I would assume so.
Yeah. Green 25. 2 by 12. Yeah. So 12-inch speaker. We've got an SM57, a Shure SM57, and a Royer 121 ribbon microphone. Both about the same distance from the speaker. The 57, I seem to have placed it just off center of the cone, and the Royer a little further off center of the cone, a little warmer sound. So we can kind of blend them in and get the sound that we're looking for. And it's really about as simple as that. Ryan's going to take a couple of passes at this solo for this tune here. And we'll chat about the sounds and maybe mess around with some things. Sound like a plan?
Yep.
Cool. If anybody has any problems hearing anything, please put a comment in the comment thread. We'll make some adjustments, but for now, we're going to dive into this tune here. So, solo section, we'll just drop you in, I don't know, looks like 2 measures before the solo.
Sure.
Starts on the 4.
Okay.
And
is in E, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Whatever. Yep.
You're a smart man.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Then it goes back to the 4.
It goes to 4.
Yeah.
I just learned that.
Yeah. So it's been a while since we tracked this tune. Normally, we would have charts, Nashville number charts in here. Even as a drummer, I find knowing the Nashville number system is invaluable. So for all you drummers watching, learn your Nashville numbers. We're going to do another one. We're just going to kind of fire off a couple more of these, and we'll talk about the tone. Sounds pretty crunchy.
Yep.
Too crunchy?
Nope.
You like it?
I like
okay.
it.
Ryan likes it, so I like it. Here we go. Woo! Yes, he is for hire. Well, before we do the next one, I wondered if you wanted to chat about the multiple string bends that you do and where that came from.
Okay.
Because we've talked about it a little bit, and people seem to fall all over themselves on social media asking you about it. So,
oh geez, where do I start with this? I learned how to string bend from watching steel players, not guitar players, because I grew up, well, strangely enough, playing classical music and then playing country music. So a lot of it is just by necessity. It wasn't because I was trying to be artistic. It's because we didn't have a budget for a steel player. So a lot of what I play, I didn't do it in that last pass, but let's say a lot of it is grabbing a string and pulling it downward and catching another string and pushing it upward to retune both strings different amounts. And it's tricky in certain positions, but or those kinds of things. Other than that, it's I'm a fan of, instead of learning a million licks for a million purposes, I'd rather learn one lick and apply it to more situations. So in other words, if I had learned for E, preferably in tune, my fingers do that. I see E, A major 7, I see D Lydian, I see, a multitude of things. I see B flat altered, I see, it looks like E under my fingers, but I'd rather apply it to more situations than trying to learn a million licks. Mm-hmm. That's essentially what it comes down to.
There you go.
That's it. That's all it is.
For more on that, you'll be able to visit www.ryandavidsonguitar.com.
Yes.
Is it guitar or music?
That's a good question. It might be, it's not launched yet, But if you want to find me, you can find me at Ryan_Davidson on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
And
Instagram.
We can talk.
Slide into his DMs. So yeah, I mean, so on a production, side, for this tune, the solo that we settled on for the previous session was, there was some steel bending in there. There were some pinch harmonics at the end.
Right.
It was a pretty out there type solo, and I think having a pretty schooled background, going to University of North Texas, Ryan knows obviously the theory of everything very well and how it fits, and it's very musical. And I'm not sure where I'm going with this. Basically, the solo is awesome. We're gonna do a few more takes here. We're gonna see what Ryan can pull out of his hat, and we'll maybe talk about comping and Ryan's kind of thoughts on comping. Basically, don't do it if you don't have to. But we'll get into that. So a couple more?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll figure something out here.
Yeah, why don't, for this one, more steel bending than anything.
Sure.
Just kind of keep it in that vein.
On that note, from a production standpoint, as a guitar player, if you play a solo or you play, say, a verse 2 after the first chorus, if you start playing steel bends, chances are you should do it for the whole section, because on a record, usually the steel player would fill for a whole section. Don't play like a steel bend and then play a guitaristic thing and then play a banjo thing, and then because usually that wouldn't happen on a recording. So
yeah,
let's like you said, let's just take a pass of mostly steel stuff.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and that's when we were tracking the real tune, we would have done just that. I think Ryan played 3 or 4 guitar parts. I think we did like a doubled rhythm guitar, so you could pan them hard left and right, fill out the track. There were some steel-ish fills through the whole thing. We did a pass of that, and then there was probably another kind of like more guitar lick-based take that you could take little chunks of, and mostly in between the lyrics. There's no vocal on this. It's I think. Yeah, no, we didn't track vocals for this. Colin hasn't tracked the vocals yet for it. I don't believe so. Yeah, here we go. Steel take number 1.
Okay.
Okay, another one. That was awesome. So Jimmy Olander.
Yeah.
Sounds very...
Huge influence.
Yeah.
Great guitar player, great dude, super nice, and plays his ass off.
Yeah. For anybody that doesn't know Jimmy Olander, he plays with Diamond Rio, and he has a dual bender on his guitar.
Yeah, he's got the...
Yeah. For anybody that doesn't know what a bender is on a guitar, go check out Jimmy Olander on YouTube. We'll do another one of those. Another steel one? Another steel thing.
Okay.
Here we go. Oh, yeah, no, we'll do another one, and then we'll talk about an issue that
sort of
just
move
came
this
up
way.
there. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Here we go. Awesome, and you can kind of hear that kind of steel fill coming into that next chorus. We've got a comment here. We're going to do a more rock distorted lead next. But before we do that, one of the issues that kind of arose when Ryan turned his volume up on his guitar is the buzz in this room.
Well, every room.
Every
room for this guitar.
Yeah, if anybody's ever played at Ranchman's in Calgary, Alberta. Yikes. So dealing with single coil guitars, single coil pickups in guitars, there tends to be a certain kind of orientation that you can set your body that kind of minimizes that. So, yeah, what's your experience with
Well,
that?
if I'm recording in the studio, and it's going to happen. I mean, it's not a matter of if, it's how much. Yeah. So in this situation, like if I'm facing you in the camera, you can hear that's with a little bit of overdrive on, not much. But there's a sweet spot, which is this. So if I were in this like normal recording session, I would obviously change that the pedals are here, but also more importantly, music stand to your left, just beyond the headstock. And people strangely don't do this. And I don't know why, because when you're a guitar player, especially on stage or in the studio, you're usually looking down at your hands and then looking at the chart. So if the chart is ahead of you or on your right, you're constantly doing this, and it leads to more errors. So it's better if the music is literally right there. And when I read an iPad on stage, it's the same thing.
Right.
I never put the iPad off to the right or in the middle. It's always off to the left, even if it looks stupid.
Right.
I kind of have to be in line with this. My right hand will do what it's supposed to do. I don't need to worry about looking at that. It's just position changes and looking at the numbers. It's
awesome. Great. I think that's a great explanation. I'm just going to gain your mic up a little bit here just because you're...
Sorry.
No, it's all good. Be comfy,
All right.
The radio voice. So more rock distorted lead this time. What are you going to change in your pedal board and your guitar to make this happen?
Well, here's the dry signal to the plugin. There's already some overdrive there. This is what I was using with a little bit more overdrive. All I'll do is I flick this. There's a gain switch here. That.
And which pedal is that?
That is the GHS Morning Glory, which I love. It was a replacement for my Wampler Paisley drive, because sadly I've destroyed 2 of them on the road, and I haven't replaced it. Maybe I'll talk to those guys and they'll send me another one. I love that pedal. I just haven't gotten around to getting one again.
Fair.
But this is a good replacement. I love JHS stuff. If you're listening, JHS, send me a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Ryan Davidson is open for endorsement deals.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, more distorted and more it'd be
rock
like
and roll-y?
Yeah, single line kind of stuff, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it was Colin that made the comment. So Colin, if you're watching, you can produce it. Here we go.
Yeah.
Nice. We'll do another one. Maybe longer notes.
Okay.
It's kind of more like
More rock and roll, less country?
yeah. Let's do that. Here we go.
Okay, that wasn't very good.
That's okay. That's what this is all about. So, another note, on a production side of things, for that particular solo, I do have a couple of effects running in Pro Tools alongside bias effects. So, previously I mentioned that we're only using bias effects for the amplifier and the cab. I still have effects like outboard type effects that I'm using, like a delay, like Echo Boy I have right here on a send on his guitar, and I have a spring reverb. I use Fog Convolver for this really great Holy G spring emulation. So I'd probably jack up the delay a little bit here, or have Ryan turn up the delay on his pedal board for that type of solo, that rock kind of solo. We just had here's Colin again. How about 50s rockish rockabilly?
Okay.
And for anybody just joining, welcome to Sessionwire Live. We're talking about tracking guitars in a small home studio today with Ryan Davidson, 2-time Grammy nominee and multiple Canadian Country Music Award Guitar Player of the Year winner, current band leader and lead guitar player for Gord Bamford, himself a multi-award winning Canadian country artist.
Thank you.
Please, yeah, please visit www.sessionwire.com. Check out Sessionwire to see how it can help your remote tracking workflow. I've just realized half my head's out of the frame here, so I'm gonna. Hey, there we go.
There we go. Oh, hi.
I don't want to show too much of the mess in my studio, but okay. 50s, rockish, rockabilly.
Okay, this is so not
Remember,
that vibe, but we'll do it.
More rockish than
Okay.
rock.
Well, it's going to be rockabilly someday. I don't know what this is going to be, but
Okay, here we go. Okay, another quick one. And so the last half, a little bit more like that than the first half. So less, more like the second half.
okay.
You know, not messing with the time so much.
Right.
And a little bit, yeah, more in the idiom. That was
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
The tone is awesome. I like the tone. That slapback is awesome. So here we go.
Uh-oh.
There it is. That's the one Pro Tools crash that always happens
Oh, no.
in a session. Yeah. That was awesome. That was the one. Dang. Okay. Here we go again.
Okay.
Awesome. I think between the two of those last ones, we could put something together that last one was great. Even Colin said that was it, the one before that crashed. That was the one. So let's look at this here. So back into Pro Tools. Fantastic. I'm going to create a little comp here. We're just going to talk about comping for a second. So this one right here was the solo that tanked. Well, Pro Tools tanked. The solo was great. It didn't tank. And we're going to see if we can make something out of that one, the first half of that solo, and the back half of this last one that you played. So when comping guitars, it's pretty easy and this actually goes for any instrument, it's pretty easy to just kind of like take a couple of parts of, you know, a solo and kind of slap it together with the next part of a different take and then slap it together. But what happens when you do that, Ryan?
Well, several things happen. One, it doesn't sound like a person actually played it. And two, with my luck, I'll get hired for the gig and I'll get the solo back and listen to it and think, I didn't play that. And it's impossible to play.
Right.
Which makes you feel even more ridiculous, because if you get hired to play your own solo and the artist isn't aware that it's been edited to death,
Yeah.
if you can't recreate it, it makes you feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Exactly. So we're going to be really careful about how we comp this together. And I prefer having Ryan here when we don't do all kinds of editing. When we have to do editing, he has to be in the room with me so that we can make sure that it's as close to something that's performable as possible. And that goes for drums as well, you know, particularly program drums, when producers start to program drums and all of a sudden there's 5 limbs playing at the same time.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the everyday listener may not notice, but there's just something about it that sounds completely inauthentic and drives me crazy anyways. So let's have a listen to what just happened here.
Oh, please don't.
So I've taken. We'll see if we can get a good kind of edit point here, just to start with. Taking the first half of the solo and the second half of the next take, and kind of comp them together right at the halfway point. It's going to sound bad. It's not going to sound like it's cohesive yet, but we'll see where we get with it. So here we go. Actually, not too bad. I mean, it's not as bad as I imagined that cut would be. So this part, it's pretty bad, actually. So we're just going to slide our little timeline over and see if we can find a point where it doesn't seem like Ryan's hand is going from one part of the neck to the other in an instant. Is essentially how I try to hear it.
Yeah.
And then Ryan will say, well, my fingers are in this position, and then they go to this position, and it's physically impossible. So let's check this out. Even I can tell that that's still not ideal. So, you know what?
It works, but it's weird for phrasing wise.
Yeah, it's not doing what we need it to do, so. No, I don't know if we're going to get away with it.
That doesn't offend me.
Yeah, that's okay. That edit point for me too. So let's check the solo out tip to tail here. If anything, I would say that this last little bit's just a little out of tune.
Yeah. And a lot of times when you get this kind of scenario where you like the back half, but it's not quite, exactly what you'd want, a lot of times I'll just replay something very similar to it and try and fix the...
Which is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do...
Let's just redo the whole thing, and I'll try and replicate the first half and the back half, kind of.
Yeah.
Let me just retune here.
Cool.
Why start now?
While he's tuning, if you're just joining, this is Sessionwire Live. This is the first kind of live stream of this kind where I've had a guest in the room with me and talking about something other than setting up Sessionwire with your DAW. So if you have questions about guitars, Pro Tools, Sessionwire, questions for Ryan, please put them in the comment section. I hope I'm not missing any. I'm trying to stay on top of all these comments, but Streamlabs desktop is not syncing correctly today, so it'll just take like 2 seconds so I can make sure we're not missing anybody. Look at that. Look at this.
There we
are. And holy, I don't want to hear my voice though. KR, if KR is still watching, good to see you. It's been a while. We're due to touch base again. Okay, here we go. We're retracking the solo similar to what we just comped together, and we'll see how it goes. Here we go. Cool. Another one real quick.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah.
No, it's probably a better fix than trying to edit the The other two, and it sounds like it's, well, it is one pass.
Yeah, no,
Sounds like a
it
pass.
sounds great. It's that was a good one for sure. Just before we try something completely different, talking about, I just wanted to mention the other bonus to using a plugin like Bias Effects and taking a dry signal from Ryan's pedal board. You can make all these changes in his pedal board for like the delay and general tone. But if we find that the amp that we're using for this 50s Rockabilly thing isn't quite working, I just have like a dry signal of Ryan's amp or pedal board, sorry, that to be honest sounds pretty bad, on its own, because it's just a pedal board. But
Yeah.
we can we can change the amp to something that's a little more 50s kind of vibe. This is a 94 matchless. It wasn't around in the 50s, so
Bassman or a
yeah, right.
Bandmaster or something like that.
Why don't we try that? Take a second.
There's got to be a 59 Bassman in there. That's pretty standard.
Yeah, I think so.
And if not, then we'll swear a lot.
Yeah, just wait for the audio to catch up. Okay, I think the audio's caught up now. No, I don't want to buy more stuff. So, Bassman. Let's see here. BB Clean, no. Super Reverb.
Super would work too.
Super is a 59 Tweed Lux.
That's probably what it is.
Right, so
It's
let's
just relabeled somehow.
try this. And it's got the cab. And we'll just see what this sounds like.
It doesn't fix the rushing, but it definitely sounds more like that genre.
Yeah, I mean, and as far as I'm concerned, the performance is much more important than, it being perfectly in time. That we can, futz with that after the fact. But, yeah, we'll see what this sounds like in context. That sounds really nice, actually.
Yeah, it sounds really good. I mean,
Yeah.
I would never guess as a guitar player that I wasn't playing through an amp, but by hearing that.
Yeah, it sounds great. This is an interesting mic placement, too. So we got an SM57 way off of the cone, like way off of the entire speaker, and a little ways away from the amp. So I wonder if we kind of see what this sounds like. So Ryan says it sounds good there.
Yeah, it sounds like a 57 on a Bassman.
Yeah, sounds great. We got a comment here. Try adding an exaggerated slap.
Well, that's pretty exaggerated already, but we can exaggerate it even more.
We could, yeah.
If anybody knows not subtle, it's me.
Yeah. And we can do it one of two ways. We can do another take of the solo, and Ryan can add more in his pedal board. Or I can add it here with Echo Boy, or a similar, probably be more like a tape slap than anything. So we're going to try it really quick with this, and then we're going to do another take with Ryan adding it in his pedal board. Because I quite like this last take myself. But basically all I'm going to do is just dial up more of this slap that's already on there in Pro Tools. And what it'll probably do is just muck it up a bunch, because of Ryan slapping his pedal board is a little bit different than the slap that I have here, so I'm willing to bet it's just going to end up a mush.
Yeah.
So we'll see here. Okay, now we'll do that in context. Yeah, not bad. It's a little mucky. Yeah, Colin says add the plugin so you can mix it. That's exactly what we're doing here. It's a little mushy because it's already coming in with some slap on it. So if we turn the emulation off, turn the plugin off, all the effects off. So there's already a little bit of slap in there, which, you know, kind of makes it a little bit mucky. But maybe we'll do another take and actually turn your slap off. Just turn it off all the way. So this will be like dry, and then I can add the slap after the fact here.
Fair.
So we'll try that out, and then we'll do it the other way. So yeah, we got slap here. You just like give me a little check. Woo! Wow. Try this. Do that again. Yeah. That's cool.
Yep.
How's that feel?
Perfect.
Okay. Here we go. Oops. Look out. Operator error. Here we go. Whoa. Let's try it one more time. Cool. One more. And, you know, while we were doing that take, that mic placement for me is a little shrill. It's a little sharp. So, not sharp, but piercing. So I actually think where that microphone was before, just a little bit off the speaker, is quite a bit warmer.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll try this out here. Very cool. And again, you know, this microphone placement thing we could do after the fact as well. I'm going to add a 121 to this as well, just for funsies.
Lovely.
Yeah. A little nice, kind of see if we can blend this in and get a little bit of warmth out of the second mic here. So we'll see what this sounds like. Oh, it doesn't sound like anything. Where did it go? There we go.
Yeah.
I kind of dig that sound. Yeah, again, we can change it to our heart's content all we want after the fact. Let's do something. Let's do something different. We're gonna do a take with a bunch of pinch harmonics.
Okay.
Just kind of. It's not quite like the Ryan Davidson take yet, but we're gonna do that.
Okay.
I think in England they call them wankers. We're gonna do one of those later. So for now, pinch harmonics, something kind of outside the box, but not too far.
Oh, not good, not too far.
I know. Yeah. Here we go.
was a lot of whatever there.
Oh man, get out of here. Let's. I'm gonna put that other amp back on here. That was awesome.
Thank you, sir.
I like that.
Not fit for radio.
No, not at all. But it was great. Let's try it. I'm gonna hear this again. It reminds me of I don't know what it reminds me of, but what's your influence?
What's my motivation?
Yeah, what's your motivation? Who are you drawing upon?
Hurting the guitar mostly.
Okay, yeah.
Honestly, I don't know where I would get an influence for that from. Maybe Van Halen?
Yeah, that would be it. Yeah, that'd be it. Okay. Oh yeah, there. Colin says brilliant. That might be the
Thank you.
one.
That's very nice. Very nice, you, Colin.
Let's do we'll do the Ryan Davidson take.
Okay.
Okay. And usually, if I'm producing a session and I say do the Ryan Davidson take or do the insert name here take, that usually means be a wanker, like.
So you want me to overplay then?
Yeah, but tastefully.
Oh, you're making this difficult. Okay.
Ooh, actually, okay, before we do that, Colin says, just for fun, play the 2 takes at the same time.
Okay.
Can you do that? I'm just kidding.
No.
I think he means like...
Thank you for asking.
This would be, what would this be? Take 13. So, let's see. Best way to do this. Oops. We're going to put the different amp on this one. All right. Here we go. That is screaming loud. Sorry, everybody. Look out.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's a bunch of stuff. Mixed together.
It's a bunch of stuff. I'm going to listen to that one more time and try to get a bit of a better balance on it here. Yeah, I mean, what I would even do from a production standpoint would be kind of like play them off each other a little bit, fade one and like they're trading solos almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would work.
That sounds really good. And as a side note, also what I would typically do is I would have a channel strip like this after each guitar emulation in Bias Effects. These channel strips from Plugin Alliance are very low latency, like 0 actually. There's no latency from the channel strip itself. So you can put a little EQ, a little compression on it, and get it to kind of sit. I usually add somewhere between 5 and 7K on a guitar just to get it to, yeah, pretty typical, right?
Yep.
A little bit of low end, maybe shave off a little bit of the, well, I guess I pulled out some 7. What? No. Let's see. Yeah, that's fun. Great. Okay. Back to the Ryan Davidson take.
Oh, jeez. Whatever that is.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just going to let you go ham.
Okay.
All right?
You ready, Brain?
Yeah, ready, yep. Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah. Here we go. Cool. We'll do another one.
Let me just. I just beat the crap out of my guitar. Yeah. Oh yeah, she's out of tune.
Woo.
Okay.
So while you're tuning, thoughts on playing in the studio so that everything comes out clearly. Like really distinctly. It's easy to kind of just like play a lick and, just kind of like like when you like mush mouth when you speak.
Yeah.
But do you find it tricky?
The biggest thing for me is deciding, like if you play, especially stuff that's a little, busy sounding, you have to decide like on a Pro Tools grid where it fits. Like if it's 8th notes, 16th notes, or triplets, those 3 food groups, it has to fit there somewhere. Mm-hmm. And there's like playing behind the beat and playing ahead or on it and feeling like urgency, like when you rush. Mm-hmm. And in country, a lot of like the 90s country guitar solos, they're really on top or they're right on the beat. Mm-hmm. You have to decide, does it fit on the grid? And if your rhythm that you're playing doesn't really fit anywhere, even if you move it around on Pro Tools, then it feels, whatever you tried to get across doesn't come across.
Right.
It sounds weird. Yep. Weird is not a technical term, but I immediately retake it. I can tell right away that I played something that doesn't fit anywhere on the grid.
Yeah, and particularly for like, country music or like radio country music, specifically, you kind of have to obey those rules.
Yeah.
You just have to. If it's like, like some kind of project that you're going to release on Spotify only or SoundCloud or whatever, you can get away with some stuff. But in the stuff that we do in the studio, you have to kind of stay within box. So this next solo that Ryan's going to play is not going to do that.
Okay.
And we'll see why.
Do you want me just to play a lot of, try and fit a lot of maybe different subdivisions in or something? That?
Yeah, you can kind of like, polyrhythmic kind of over the bar line stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Here we go.
Okay.
Awesome. Loved it. So, in terms of the rushing or the urgency side of things, like a little section like this, for me, I would even go so far as... Oh, hold on. I would even, like, myself just grab all of this and really bump it back, make it feel really grossly, exaggeratedly behind the beat, just because that's what I'm feeling. Right? It's just like, feels like that's where it needs to go. Colin says, great stuff, guys. He's got to jump. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah. Colin, we'll touch base later. I think this is great. I mean, if anybody has any kind of like last questions, please put them in the comment section. We're going to wrap up pretty quick here. This has been fantastic.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Thanks for coming across the street and hanging out. We literally live across the street from each other, so we get to hang out and drink coffee and sour beers and, talk about our pet cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, please drop them in the comment section. If you have any comments after this stream is done, you can, put them in the comment section anyways. I do my best to kind of go back and look through them all and answer them. You can also shoot us an email, support@sessionwire.com, if you need help getting set up with Sessionwire. If you want to, ask Ryan any questions, you can find him on social media, particularly Instagram, Ryan_Davidson. Pretty recognizable person. You can recognize his guitar in almost every post that he does. Marcus is just dropping in. How's it going? We're due for a catch up. I know. I gotta send you a text or an email or give you a call or something. Just wrapping up some guitar tracking. This has been fantastic. Please visit www.sessionwire.com and sign up for your free Sessionwire account. You can have someone like this play on your records through Sessionwire in real time.
Indeed.
You can produce him and tell him what to do. If you have questions, again, please reach out to us, support@sessionwire.com. Thanks again, Ryan.
My pleasure.
For joining. And thank you all for joining the stream. There will be one in... Oh, I got to check my calendar. This happens every time at the end of a stream. I forget when the next one is happening. The next live stream will be on August 17th. I'll just be going over some kind of vocal mixing tips and tricks that I've kind of come across. By no means am I a world-class mix engineer, but I have some things that I like to do, and I'll share them with you. The stream after that is going to be August 31st, and it's all about building a home studio on a budget, which I've done, and Ryan is doing right now.
Yep.
So maybe Ryan will come over and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, the stuff that comes out of the studio sounds pretty darn fantastic.
Thank you.
I must say.
Has a lot to do with the players that play on it. Yeah. Also, if you're interested in seeing more of what has come out of the studio with Ryan and myself playing, check out Musicians in Basements Drinking Coffee on YouTube. It's a fun little project that we had for a little while where we wrote, arranged, produced, recorded, and filmed 3 pieces of music within 4 hours. On multiple occasions with different special guests.
Yep.
So you can check that out. Shout out to our friend Nathan Kidd for mixing everything that ended up on the internet, and to our, again, Nathan Kidd and who's the Dave, oh my goodness, Dave, I'm so sorry. Nathan and Dave were both heavily involved in filming a bunch of it for us as well. So Musicians in Basements Drinking Coffee. I've been Brendan Lyons, and still am. Well, thank you for joining us on Sessionwire Live. We'll be doing another one again in 2 weeks. Very much looking forward to seeing you there. Bring your questions. Bring your tips and tricks. If you want to tell me how to do some things, more than happy to learn. Thanks again. Bye-bye.